All right, so I'm going to get the share going and get our InDesign up. Excuse me. So one of the advantages of InDesign is as you start to work more, things get easier, meaning work more. Like it's not uncommon for a company to have a newsletter or to have a catalog that comes out a couple times a year potentially, even more often than that. And by having things set up in InDesign, i.e. style sheets and master pages and such, it will allow you to work much quicker and much more effectively and efficiently. Because ultimately, when we start talking about art, design, and all that, it's about time. Okay, it's the one thing we never have enough of. I mean, I don't know. Even when we have time, it doesn't seem like we have enough. So, InDesign was made to help us work more efficiently as we go. Now we're going to be doing some very basic, simple layouts in class, nothing complicated, because I'm just trying to get you guys up to speed and up and running and feeling comfortable enough that, you know, if you had to use the program again for something else, you can. And of course, you're going to get additional classes and more complex layouts and more complex Photoshop things and all that as you go further along, should you go further along. But, you know, I want you to at least be able to do some basic layouts here. I don't know, like say do a resume, you write some letters, whatever it happens to be, utilizing InDesign will allow you to do that in a better way. So just kind of a file I made the other day, and we're just kind of go through. I'm going to kind of go through again some of the ideas of style sheets and master pages and what they are and what's the difference between all of those. So right now I've got an 8-page document. I've got some stuff going on page 2 and 3, as we can see here. And I have something going on page 8. Okay. So we're just going to kind of fill in some other items as we move along here. Okay. So style sheets are up here. Okay. I'm looking at my pages here, pages tab, and I get a master A, and these are master pages. Okay. And then we have over here style sheets. Okay. Or styles. Okay. So there's a paragraph style, which is basically formatting. Okay. Formatting is it justified, unjustified, all those kind of things. The character has to deal with the typefaces, okay, or the fonts. Okay. So what we can do is we can pre-select or pre-build items into here. And then when we get to new articles, or we get to new text that's been given to us, we can kind of just click certain things and it will automatically set it up that way. So for example, things that we would find in articles or magazine publication newsletters, things that are common are headlines. I'm just going to actually put those in just little boxes here. Headlines, as we can see. And I'm going to just this down a little bit. Don't need as big. I'm going to just copy. Okay, then we have subheads. Okay, which are basically headlines within articles. Okay, or a story type of thing. We will have things like the body copy. Okay, which is the bulk of the story. We will have captions, which are typically underneath like a photo, right? So under a photo, it'll say, you know, a picture of, you know, Godzilla attacking, you know, an airbase in Arizona, right? So just kind of that little script that goes underneath the photo. 90% of the time we find it in italic. It doesn't need to be, but it's kind of like a stylistic thing that people do. And then other things that we'll find on pages are potentially a header, which goes at the top of the page. And also we will find things like a page number, right, which are pretty common on pages. So I'm going to just kind of go through and show you how we kind of work these up. Now, oftentimes I will do just what I'm doing here, just kind of giving me my basic things so I can start to figure out what do I want for a particular article, not article, I should say, for a particular document, because basically magazines and stuff are made up of a variety of articles within this set number of pages, right? You know, you get a magazine and it's 100 pages or whatever it happens to be. I'm just looking for a National Geographic or something here. Could have one. Where's it? Hold on, I got one. So National Geographic, we've all seen this, right? And if there's a look, right? With obviously they have the gold bar frame, and then they have their masthead, which is really their title. But this publication is 138 pages. Okay, and it includes articles, it includes ads, it includes pictures and charts and so forth. So what they will have is they will have a master, a master document that they kind of work from each month that has all the basic stuff put in. So things are consistent. So if I look at this month, this is July of 21, and then I look at, you know, August of 21, they're going to have similar things with the idea of similar typefaces for headlines and for body copy. And this then similar layouts they're going to start to use with magazines. And again, this is that gutter we were talking about the other day. You got to watch when you get things in there. Can they be read? And you'll see that probably they do, for the most part, avoid putting stuff in the gutter because it becomes difficult to read. And it's also even visually, if you look at this page, 2-page spread of a photo, they've got these 3 people here, and they put them to one side of the gutter, not in the middle. Because if they were in the middle, they would get kind of cut up and folded, and that would just look weird. Okay, so being aware of what is in your images and how they go into the gutter is important. It's good to have pictures go across. Okay, it kind of brings your eye over, but they don't want anything really kind of important visually to be in there. And then here we have a caption for the photograph that's also there. So they're setting up standards ahead of time. So whether it be a 130-page magazine, this is a little magazine from the National Park Conservation Association. It's 64 pages, so quite a bit smaller, almost half the size. But they also have standards as to typefaces and articles and how they're kind of setting things up to be consistent from month to month, or in this case, they do 4 magazines a year that they put out. Okay, so InDesign will let you set up standards and be able to reuse those each and every time that you're coming in, and not have to redo it, right? Because it takes time to set this up, and you don't want to have to kind of do this every month or every quarter when you come in. That's a waste of work. Okay, so if we set this up properly in the beginning, we can save a lot of time come the next time. Okay, so it's not uncommon when you're working at a design firm or you're the person doing all this, they literally take time, meaning, it could be a couple days, could be a couple weeks to kind of get this all finessed. So when you do a new update, it's already kind of planned out, and you just have to drop the information in. Okay. So character styles are the font and body copy. Again, we're going to be font, and then we're going to do paragraph style. So let me just kind of grab some paragraphs in here. I'm just going to copy that and paste that in here. So we've got 2 different types of typefaces going on. in here. And I'm going to show you how we'll correct that and kind of fix that going on. So I'm just using this first page as a demo with that. Okay. Now, before we get to that with styles, let's go about the master page. And the master page are things that you're going to find on, I don't want to say all the pages, but a large number of pages. So in this case, we've got 8 pages here, and you see they all have a little A in there. And what that A stands for is master A. So anything I do up on master A will automatically get dropped into these pages because they follow a master A. Now, on the master pages, you want to put things that are reoccurring. So reoccurring things are like a header. Okay, so I'm going to put something up here to show you. And there's 2 pages here, right? So I've got right and left. I'm on the left side. And I'm just going to go like Time Magazine, okay? And I'm going to format this to what I want. So I'm going to pick my character, and I'm going to do something besides mignon. Again, it's pretty cool right now. They kind of gives you a little preview of what's going on over there. So you can kind of real time look at the typefaces. I think Time uses a serif. So let me just find a serif that works. Computer, slow down. It's condensed. That's too much. We'll do this. We got 4 choices in here, and I'm going to go with the bold, and I'm going to actually make it 13 point. And I'm going to push it to where I want it to be. So I'm literally just kind of moving that box. I want it just to sit just above. And we'll let it sit on the margin. We're okay. All right. And then I'm going to give it a fill color too. Okay, so I'm going to give it here. I'm going to make it red because Time Magazine does red. Okay, so that's going to on that side. And then over here, I'm actually going to copy because I want to just use the same typeface. On the right side, again, I'm going to give them a slogan, all the news. Okay, and I want that to be over to the edge. And again, I want to pull that down so it's just sitting on top of my margin there. Okay. So now if I go back to my pages and I start to look at them, we'll look at example page 3 or 4 and 5, we see that up here. Okay. So that's been now copied onto every page that has the A master. Okay. So even up here on this, we can see that's there. Okay. So again, I might come back and reformat some things here. So I'm not quite touching that, or I could then move, or I could move that up. Okay. If I want to. And even on this page here, we see only it's the right side. So we have all the news there. Now, if I put in a new page, I'm just making a new page down here. It is also a master A. Okay. But I can change things. So I'm going to make a new set of masters called a B master, meaning I want different things on a certain page. Actually, you know what, let me do the page numbers first. So before that, I'm going to put page numbers on a master, and that's going to include page numbers on all of them. And I'm setting up the first master. So when I make the second master, it's going to be based on the A master. I'll make a B master. So I'm going to insert a special character. And where is it now? They put the thing. 1 second. Hold on. Moved it. Where did they move it to? Okay. I'm going to make a box. Okay, so just made a text box, type, insert special character, and I'm going to do, it's called markers, and I'm going to put current page number. Okay, and it put in a letter A in this case. I don't know why it does not A's, but or B's, It just does letters. So I'm going to format this letter because this is what the font is going to be for the page numbering. So I'm going to do meta, and we're going to do bold, and I'm going to make it, give it some like bigger page numbers at the bottom, and then I'm going to position it where I want. So I'm just going to literally move it down. I'm going to line it up just kind of an eighth of an inch down from there. Now I'm going to copy this over to the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this on the other side of the box. I'm going to give that a right justified item. And that's also, it just says A. All that is just kind of visual representation of where that number is going to be. Okay. And it does the A. That's just the way the computer talks to do what it's going to do. So now if I look at these pages back here, 1, 2, whatever, you're going to see there should be a page number on there. Let me just see why didn't it do it. There we go. Page 5. Over here we have a page 4. I guess it took a second to think. Page 2. And then over here, page 3. Okay, so it will automatically put those numbers in. And if I add a new page, it's going to add it. If I take away, end up deleting a page, it will do that. So I'm going to like take off this page here. I'm going to delete the page. Let me just make sure I'm on page 3, delete page. Now we're back to there. It's the way I want it. And I guess, oh, I know, I put new page in that was up there. But it put the numbers in. Okay, so page 2, page 3. Okay, and it's based upon the master A. So if I look at master A, we've got all the news, and we've got time, and it's every page is numbered. So as I build in a new page, after page 8, we got page 9, you see it made page 9. Okay, so it's automatically numbering them and putting it in whatever font style I've selected for that particular article. Okay, or magazine or publication, right? You don't typically change page number styles throughout the magazine, book, etc. that you're working on. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. One second here, just trying to. Do something. Okay, so I'm going to make another master, meaning I'm going to make it exactly the same, except I'm going to change the color of this time and all news. We're just going to make it another color. So what I'm going to do is I'm up here on master A, and I've got all I have on here is time and the header up there, and then the page numbers at the bottom. And I'm going to put the output here, this kind of the hamburger menu, and I'm going to do a new master. And it asks me, it's going to be called master B, and you can name the same thing you want. Do you want it to be based upon anything? So based on master. If I put based on master A, and the 2 pages, meaning it's a spread, as I click it in, I'll look at B now, and B will look the same as A. Okay, but here the page number says B. Okay, but I'm going to change up here this color on here. So let me get type. One sec. Why isn't this selecting? Come on. Oh, they did something. They changed something up here. It used to be just kind of click and go. I got to just double check. All right. So I'm overriding, meaning I'm going to kind of do what I want with it. It should do it all on that page. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to make it a new color. I'll give it a green. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pages, override the master item. I'm going to make that also green. Okay, so the difference between A and B masters is literally green. Okay, one page has the type in green, one has it red. So now if I want these last 4 pages to be in green, all I have to do is drop this down to here and it's going to give it a B master. Okay, so what I'm doing is adding a B to these pages and it should work. Did it work? It did. Okay, so now on these last 4 pages, they have a B master. The page number stayed the same. I didn't want that to move and I didn't want it to change size or font. So I left that on as a basis of the master, but I want to change this header. So over here, we've got it in red. Over here, we have it in green. Okay, so everything stayed the same except the color shift. So I made a new master for that. And to apply a master, you literally just kind of drag it down and just drop it onto that page. Okay, it's to tell it that you want it to be an A or a B master in this particular case. Or it could be no master, right? I have a none. I can make this page none, and now it has no page numbering and no header because it's got a none. There literally is no master on there. Okay, if I want to add the B, just drag the B back down and it will give it the B back. Okay, so we can kind of go back and forth and add or take away or flip-flop masters or add new masters as we go. I don't think there's a limit to masters. There might be, but I'm going to probably tell you, you're probably never going to get there. Okay, so it's probably 20 or 30 or something like that if there is a limit. I've never seen it because I've never done a document with that many masters. Okay, does that make sense on the master page? It's only things that you want on every page. And it's things that are kind of permanent. You don't put, it would make sense logically to, hey, I want to put a type box on a master because I want it to always be in the same place. Okay, but it's not what that's designed to do. Okay, it's designed just to have these elements that are there on all the pages, not necessarily a text box, because otherwise put the text on everything. So you have to kind of build the text boxes up individually, or you can start to copy pages, meaning if you start to build up a page over here, well, let's say like this, like you have a big picture with some title in it, and then you got a text box. Okay, you can literally kind of select those pages and you can duplicate them. Okay, so you can duplicate the spread and it put a new one at the bottom. So basically, once you've done it, you can now come back and now change the picture, right? So I've got a preset. Now I want a different picture. Now I want the same look. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a new picture. Okay, and I'm going to fit that. We're going to do that. Okay. And then you're going to drop in a new article, right? So you can duplicate looks and feels that you have. And again, I have pictures in them, but you could do them blank, you know, meaning the X's are just text in there in order to duplicate spreads and looks and feels that you're trying to do. Okay, so now let's go back and now set up some style sheets. Now that we've set up some masters, meaning we have page numbers and we've got the little header that's on it. So I've already done this. So I could have pre-formatted this here. And I don't know, typeface, I used something. Let me see, I think I used that one. And I had it up to like 13 and I made it red. Okay, and it was a bold, I think. I don't know. So I could kind of pre-format it here, just kind of go through them. Same thing with the page numbers. I know that was a meta. Or was it Arial? Maybe it was Arial. I thought it was meta. And push that up to 14. And that was in black. So again, I'm just kind of presetting, looking at my things. All right, so let's go through and then we're going to set up some styles. So I want to make a caption. I'm going to set my, well, let me do my body copy first so I can have a reference point. So I'm going to do, we'll do Algeria as my body copy. I'm going to keep it at 12. We're going to make look at, we're 12.5. Okay, with that. And I'm going to go medium weight. Okay, and then I'm going to keep it in black. And then my captions, I'm going to do the same typeface. Okay, I'm going to make that at 11 point. And then we're going to we'll go 10. We'll make it smaller. And I'm going to give it an italic. Let me I'm just looking here, see what I got. What I like is that's the hairline, the thin, ultralight, next extra light, that's ultralight, okay. And bold italic, that's too much. Light italic, I'm gonna go with the ultralight italic, okay, and that's there, and it's a little bit smaller, so that's 11 point. And then for my subhead, I'm going to pick a different type. I want to do a serif. So we'll go back to this Albertina, and we're going to push that up to 16 point. And we've got a bold with that. And I'm going to spread it out a little bit, just so you can kind of see the difference. And then my headlines, I'm going to go again with that Albertina. I'm going to go with bold. And I'm going to make that like 18 point. Go even bigger, just to exaggerate. And I'm going to track it out a little bit. Okay. So now what I'm done is I've got my headlines, and we're going to let's do the subheads. I'm going to give it a color just so you can visually kind of see the differences going on here. All right, so these are what I'm using in my articles, and you can have a variety of these, but most times we'll kind of set this up preset for a magazine or a project. So I have here this, and what I want to do is do my character styles first. So I'm selected this, I'm going to do a new one. Okay, so this is a new character style, and I want to name it. So I'm going to call this headlines. And I'm going to look at the character, and it should copy over what I'm clicked on. So it's the Albertina bold with 20 point and a tracking of 60. Okay, so it's done there, and I can just click OK. Now I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to do plus again, and I'm just going to double click on it. And this one I'm going to do subhead. And you want to name these the way that you would make sense to you. If we start naming them character style 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to get lost. You'll be like, what was that? Okay, so here we got the Albertina, we have 16 point, we got the leading. Down here, we can see we did pick a color. Okay, we're not doing anything here with that. This is fine. We're not underlining, we're not striking through. So we just have the basic character, and we've got a color that we've changed. And you can set that here, but I've already set that as a preset. And again, it's based on nothing because I'm just clicking on it. But you could base it on one of the other ones that you've selected, okay? And you could set up a shortcut if you needed to. And I'm gonna click OK. Now I'm gonna do this one, whoops. I'm gonna do plus here, I'm gonna do body copy. Okay, and I know its character is medium 12.5. Okay, so I know it's copying everything over. And you're going, why this is like a lot of work? Well, it is and it isn't, because you're going to see in a second where this thing makes your life so much easier. The header and the page number, I'm not worried about because I already put those on a master page, but I could put them here if I needed to. All right, so I also am going to set up a paragraph style. Okay, and I'm going to do this is I'm going to make a body copy here. When I click it, it changes it automatically. Okay, but I also want to make this a justified with a last line, not justified. Okay, and I'm going to increase the leading on this so you can see right now it's at 15. I'm just going to drop it up to 17. So now I'm going to come to paragraph style and I'm going to hit plus. Okay, and I'm going to do this and double click on it. And I'm going to call this body copy. And just go paragraph just so we don't get confused later. Not based on anything, but what I'm doing is here we see we have the typefaces in. Okay, and we can put in things like justification. It's justified left. Okay, and we can change the rag or not. We can fix all that here. We can do some tabs if we want to. Rules, shading, hyphenation. This is where we can select hyphenation. Do we want the words to be hyphenated or not? Okay, and if we do, what this rule is saying is if the word is not at least 5 letters, don't hyphenate it. If you do, you can hyphenate after the second or before the second last letter. Okay, and the number of hyphenation limit is 3, meaning like in a paragraph. Okay, so the zone is like this ½ inch. And you can kind of go through here and do you want better spacing or better hyphenation? And you can kind of preset this here as to what your preference was. And can you capitalize? You can hyphenate capitalized words or not. Hyphenate across the column. These are kind of basic things you can put in. Justification, we've already done that. Full justified with the last one open. Drop caps, I'll show you that. Typically, you'll do these manually, but you can put those in. You can set up colors and underlining and so forth. So in addition to what we have from character styles, we've got it added in some paragraphing styles. Why? There's a difference. Okay, and the difference is I can select type and just give it a paragraph style or a character style, or I could select paragraphs and articles and give them a paragraph style. So I'm gonna click OK, and we're gonna be good. And then I'm going to, I'm just gonna do down here, I'm gonna select this, and I'm gonna give this the caption. So I can preset the caption of how I want it to be. So I'm going to come up here and I want the captions to be right justified. Okay, so I just want them to kind of look like this. So I'm going to come in here, make a new paragraph style, and I'm going to call it Captions Paragraph. Okay, and it will copy over all those things I just kind of pre-selected on there and click OK. So as I start to add things in, I can preset these and it'll do it. So if I just click on the word captions, it's going to make it the typeface that I want. But if I click on captions paragraph, it's going to add in this additional items, meaning the paragraphing that I'm working with. Okay, so let me just show you how that works. So if I select a paragraph or an article, I can either give it a style here under paragraph, or I can give it a character style. So in this case, I'm going to say, here's the body copy. If I double click or click on it, it changed it automatically. I didn't have to do anything. It's already got that formatting in it. If I go back to paragraph and do it, body copy, you see it also gives me my justifications that I put in. Okay, so think about when you're handed all these articles, they're going to give you these Word files. And all you got to literally do is kind of click and it makes it the way you want it to be. So it really will make things kind of easy. So I'm going to put in an article here. We've got this article on the alligator or the crocodile. And I need another paragraph over here because I've got some over. So I'm going to click here. Oops, click here and load it up. So I've got that loaded up. I'm going to drop it down here. So now that last couple sentences actually came to the next page. Okay. I'm going to do a couple more things in here in a second. I'm going to add in a subhead. Okay, so it's kind of a, assume they wrote it in or I'm writing it in. That's a subhead. And we're going to get to that in a second here. So I want this article, and I'm just going to select the article, and I want to copy the paragraphs or body copy stuff. So I'm clicking it, and it automatically changed to what I want it all the way over here. It's all that new type that I want. Okay. But when I get into here, this comparing the two, I only want this to be a subhead. So I just click subhead, and now it changed to a subhead with what we selected and made up on that first page. Now I'm going to have a caption over here. I'm going to just kind of write one real quick. So I keep spelling. I know I'm spelling crocodile wrong. Okay, so I have a caption here, and right now when I hit caption, it's going to put it into the format that I want it. Okay, now it's in black, so I know the black's not going to work, so I can come back up here and change that. Okay, to make that correction here on this. Okay, so it doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm set permanently like that, and likewise, we had the captions format here. So if I click that, you see it went back to black, but it gave me that formatting that I wanted with the right justified. So in this case, I'm just going to change it to white. Okay, and now we've got that caption here, and I can now position this where I want in my particular article. Okay, but it's always going to be the same. So come 20 pages from now, I'm like, what the heck was that captioning? What kind of typeface? Well, I forget. All I got to do is click on that paragraph style or that character style, and it will convert it over to what I need. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So questions on this? Because this is a cool concept, because as we start to go, as you start to develop and build, you don't have to think about it. Once you kind of set up, like I'm going down here to this article, all I got to do is highlight it and then come up here and say, I want it to be the body copy. Boom, now it's done. Okay, or I want to make this a headline and come to paragraph, headline, and now it's done. Okay, it's set up to be whatever I have set up as my standards. It doesn't mean you can't change things, okay? But it will definitely speed things up and make things consistent as you start to work.
I do have one question about a different thing. You said there's like a feature that lets you set something, then it appears on every continuing page, right?
Yeah, that's the master pages.
Yeah. I wanted to know that, like the master page. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I see. You can break it up into different subsections, right?
Yeah, you can make additional masters, and you can assign masters to different pages. Does that make sense? So they're not permanent. These have A masters. That means the A. I don't know why this is showing up A in here. Probably because I referenced it. But this is a B master. So literally I have to just kind of drag it down. So here, I'm going to make this a B master. I just drag it and you see the B came in. So this is still A, but this is B. If I want it over there, I just make that B. Oops. weird happening. So strange. There's something to click in here. Okay, just drag that to B. There we go. Okay, so now on this page, it's a B master, and I know it's because I have the green up here for B. Okay, so yeah, you can change it. And again, if you want none, you don't have to have any. Okay, again, the whole point of these is to make things quicker and more effective. But you can do that. Honestly, if I would try, it appears to be damaged. Oh, I damaged my file. I don't know what's going on. So obviously we're gonna something got weirded out on this one. So this is all gonna go away and be trash. Good thing I didn't put too many 100 hours into this. So that's why you want to save, okay? Because obviously things happen. And it's not gonna save it. Let me do a save as, maybe that'll work. Save as design 5A. Yep, it's corrupted. Oh, okay, whatever. We're gonna work, and we'll trash this and keep going. And I haven't saved. I literally haven't saved probably since I opened it. And it's been almost an hour now. Okay, that was probably a mistake on my part. You should kind of save every, I would say at least every 10 minutes or so. Just hit Command S. I got so busy talking that I forgot to save. Okay. It's well worth doing. All right. Questions about the style sheets or master pages? Like I said, we'll for the project, you won't necessarily have to do it, but I want you to be aware of it, know how to do it, and I would highly recommend you practice it. And as you can see, it wasn't that hard to do. Like I said, I like to kind of just set up these items, and then as I start to do that, I can just kind of hit new, and it kind of brings it over. Okay, so I'm just kind of pre-working it up, and if I want to see how it's going to look, I can just literally come over here and select type and make my adjustments for tracking and kerning, we're tracking and letting, font size, all those kind of things early on, so I don't have a problem, and then I can just kind of click them into play. Okay, so that's kind of a cool thing. Now, let me just get over here. I'm just looking to see where they moved. They had some. Second. There's one other thing I want to do, but I got to find out where they moved it to. On here, I want to do drop caps. Oh, here we go. So a drop cap is where a letter goes through a couple lines. So I'm going to select, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. I want to make this C a drop cap. And you'll see this on books and manuscripts. A lot of times, the start of a story or an article, you don't usually find it every paragraph. It gets to be too much and too crazy. But in here, down at the bottom of the paragraphing, I selected the C. You see this little A, drop cap lines and drop cap characters. Now, I want it to be one, so I'm not going to be worried about it. But if I click this up, it's going to take it into different lines. So here it's 2 lines. Here it's 3 lines, okay? And then I can also make it more characters if I wanted to, but that gets to be a bit much. So, you know, a lot of times it's the first letter. And then we're good, right? We have this drop cap that kind of comes in here for crocodile. If you make it too big or too huge, it gets kind of weird looking at it and reading it. Let me just put it in preview so you can kind of see. Okay, but that's kind of done. It's a fairly common item that's done in type and in layout. And if I want to move that up, I'm just trying to think, I know I can do it. Um, see what it's there. No, that's gonna move it in. That's moving the whole paragraph. There's a way that I can move this up a lot higher. I got to figure out where that is. I can hit return here and that brings it down, but now it's thinking it's the next paragraph. But you can make that. I can make this C kind of rise up a little bit and fit in here. And I'm just looking to see what's the best way of doing it within the paragraph. I know I could build it as a new text box that just becomes more complicated. But they move some things around. And that's not doing anything here. We'll figure that out. It's no worries. It's just getting into nuance of this stuff. All right. Questions? Again, if you see the gray, that just means there's text, but it's so small that the computer's not going to render it that small. Okay, so there really is stuff there. As you can see, that shows the header and over here. So if I make this typeface all smaller, it goes to gray. Okay, it's really there. All the words are there. It's just because it's so small at this scale, it doesn't render. As you zoom in, you can start to see it popping in.
Okay.
So don't get confused by that when you zoom in, like, where'd my text go? It became gray bars. No, it's all there. It's just the computer doesn't want to render it. All right. Questions? So we went over today character styles and paragraph styles. So paragraph styles contain basically characters and character styles, but character styles do not contain paragraphing styles. Meaning, when I go to this this master, or this character style, it's not, doesn't include anything about formatting, right? Justified, left justified, that kind of, none of that's there. Okay, but when I get over here and I look at them, you see there is paragraphing styles, shading, borders, hyphenation, justifications, all those kind of things. Okay, so paragraph styles include characters, but characters do not include paragraphs. Okay, and the easiest way to set all these up is to kind of set up a page in the beginning and pick out your typefaces, pick it all out. And you can have separate sections, right? You can have body copy 2 or body copy alternate or whatever you're going to name it that you remember. Okay, that's what's important, because if I just did these 1, 2, 3, 4, at some point I'm gonna go like, what was number 4? Right? And you're just wasting time. Okay, so make sure you're giving them names that make sense to you. So when you're working, it's the way it's supposed to be. All right, questions?
Not really. It seems pretty simple to understand.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I feel kind of in the same boat. It feels like you just kind of get your presets done and then you sort of like play off of that or adjust it to how you want something
Yes.
to look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, anybody else? Anything? All right, so I'll get the sheet up for the magazine. We'll go through that next week. So you guys have, a couple weeks to get that done. That won't take you too long. But right now, work on the posters, the travel posters. I got, I think, most of your logos, but if you haven't, finish that up. And then just start working on what is your travel poster going to be about, and working it up in Illustrator. Okay, so I'm giving you time to take the time to draw it up well, get everything right, get all the points to be proper. It's not due till I think the 2nd. All right, so we've got, 2 weeks literally to get this done.
All right.
Okay. All right, other questions? All right, so work on that. Like I said, I will be getting that other sheet up, and I just uploaded the video from Monday. I got to do today's also, so I'll get those back, both those up on the website, so you can review those also. All right. Anything else for today, guys? All right, so practice your InDesign just to kind of keep familiar with it. If you run into problems, write it down, and we'll answer or ask those questions so we can get those figured out. And other than that, have a great weekend, and we will chat on Monday.
All right. See you then.
Alrighty,
thank
see you
you.
then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Just a quick question. Was
Hey.
there anything due Monday that you asked? Or
No. We're
just the
just
stuff?
working on the posters. That's not due to the second.
And then I just want to say thank you again for giving me time to like work on my logo. I'll have it to you as soon as possible. It's just been kind of hectic.
Yeah, no rush. Just take
Alright.
time. Do it the way you want it to be. We're okay. We got time.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.